All right. Good evening, everybody. It is April, 8th, and it is our first Tribe Redefine and Friends call for the month. Mindy is getting some cleaning done. I like it. I want to start out with some shout outs. I've got some Green Light Go reminders for you and a little inspiration that I hope it's inspirational. And I also have a fun action item for us. It's not inviting, it's not growing our network, but it's content driven. So it'll help us to make the most of our power pockets, I hope. So anyway, first some shout outs. One of my newer coaches, Dana Bruno, signed a coach today. So I'd like to congratulate Dana on being halfway to Emerald and also to welcome our new coach, Kim. She joined our team page as well. Dana is an Orange Theory fitness trainer, and on Tuesday mornings, she heads there at 4 a.m. So chances are good she's never going to make our live calls because that would just be unfair for her. But if she always watches the recordings. So I just wanted to have her hear that shout out and also welcome Kim for when she gets to see this. I wanted to give a belated shout out to Leslie. I know that Jess talked about this last week. Whether Leslie saw that or not, I'm not sure, but really super proud of you for hitting Success Club 10 last month because I know that you pulled that out and I'm hoping you feel good. And also Leslie got herself some business cards. She's participating in a wellness event in her district soon. So watch out. Lots of things are happening. It is Leslie's season. Spring brings out the Leslie, and it's going to be a 24/7, 365 spring. Just saying. So be ready for that. I also wanted to shout out Rebecca O'Connell and Natalia for posting rather consistently. Rebecca has been one of my very first coaches, and her season in life happens in different ways. And her husband's coached before, and they've kind of come in and out in their own ways, but she's been a consistent challenger through and through, and she's in a coaching season again. She's posting and sharing, whether that means she's going to be, building her business, that doesn't matter. She is sharing, and that's inspiring people, and that's coaching. Whatever comes from it on paper, it's definitely doing something for the girls that follow her, especially the other moms with really young kids. So good job for her. And Natalia is rocking the to be mindset lifestyle. Her images are really beautiful. I don't know how she takes such pretty pictures of food. She's got like Nicole Bishop jeans or something because her food pictures are always quite lovely, and her photos of herself are quite lovely. She's very artsy, so I'm loving that. So I just wanted to get that ball rolling, and I want to also wish Melissa congratulations on having some brick styled roots perhaps in Texas. So good things are happening for Melissa. So keep our fingers and toes crossed that she and Rob can have their Texas ground broken super soon. So we're excited for them. And thank you to everybody who's on the call. And also just one last plug that if you're around this weekend to just come by. I heard airfare to Philly is really inexpensive, Robin and Mindy. I'm making that up, but I'd imagine, whatever, who cares? It'll be a good time. We've got a photographer, I've got some secret stuff planned. I actually wanted to just make sure my screen doesn't share because I have someone sharing stuff with me that I don't want you guys to see at the moment. I had to quickly zip that away. Just some fun, simple things. It's a small little event, but I'm excited for what's to come. If you can come for any of it, Super Sunday, not Super Sunday, come crash our hotel room. We've got a suite, so there's plenty of space for you. So whatever, if you'd like to be there. But if not, we'll definitely share what we're doing in a inclusive way and not in a way to like, look what you're missing, but you're a part of this too, even if you can't make it because, we're still a small team, but we're going to do what we can to include one another. Okay, so let's get into some things here. I woke up this morning, and I think because it's the week of the retreat, and I was talking to the photographer it's the same lady we had last year, and just like all these things are falling into place, and seeing, Jackie's amazing weekend in New York City, and also shout out to you, Jackie, for doing that, even though I bailed, and I think you're fabulous. But it just, I woke up feeling for once, not the nagging sense of envy that I've had for where I was last year. And it's never envy of other people. It's like envy of myself and what I was able to accomplish. And why haven't I been able to accomplish that again? Or why did I let that unravel? Instead, I woke up this morning, maybe because I feel good. I don't know. The sun is shining. There's all kinds of reasons. It's the week of the retreat. And I woke up feeling like, just go, just do. It felt like it all fell off my shoulders, and I feel a lot lighter and I feel a lot clearer. And I remember it was listening to Bob Heilig's podcast last year on the red lights and the green lights that lit me up and changed me. And I went back today and I re-listened to it because I have it saved. I hope you do that, even though it takes up half the memory on my phone, as I do save the podcast episodes that mean something to me. And if you save an episode, the way I have mine play, it's autoplay. So if I'm caught up on an episode and like I'm listening to Rise, my favorite of Rise will come on next automatically. And then it's just kind of like a constant reminder. And in your virtual upline, the Green Light Go podcast episode is the one that I have saved. I have one from all of my favorite podcasts. My Samantha Edis interview on Dr. Berman's podcast is the one that plays. I could probably recite that entire thing because it plays so often. But it's just something, Teresa and I talk about this all the time, often when we're feeling in our icky space or whatever it is that's got us down. When you dig into personal development, it's so helpful. So always having those kind of subliminally flow through me when I just have it playing and I'm doing the dishes and I get through the new ones, suddenly my old favorite, the one that really hits home, pops in, and it always seems like it's at the right time. But tonight I dug out Bob Heilig on purpose and just kind of gave myself that reminder. And I want you to think real quick. So we're going to do a little visualizing. You don't have to participate out loud, so don't panic if you can't think of anything. But I want you to think of a limiting belief that's hitting you right now. And there's a couple examples that I'll give you. I want you to think if it's business related, a rank that feels completely unrealistic to you. Maybe it's like 1 or 2 above where you are right now. Maybe you've not even signed a coach, right? Maybe it's just a rank advance at all. Think about if that's what it is. Think about what is keeping you from that. Like, I could never encourage that many people to join my team. I could never share the business opportunity with enough people to fill those spots. I could never lead these people, so why would I bring them onto a team? Whatever your limiting belief is, think about that. If it's with challenge groups and filling your challenge groups, maybe it's, I don't want to bug this person again. I don't want to follow up with this person again. She reached out to me and I know she'll come back around when she's interested. I don't want to ask my challenger if they really like Shakeology because I don't even want to scare them about the price. I don't even remind them that it's getting auto shipped. Like all of those little things. I hope I'm not the only one that has those thoughts because I'm always like, do I reach out to this person and tell them their Beachbody On Demand is renewing? Because then they might cancel. I have this momentary freak out sometimes. These little red lights. And to take them and turn them into green lights, because every time we create a limiting belief, we stop ourselves before we start, and we never give ourselves the abundance of the opportunity for that yes. So let's take this idea that I could never lead a team. And I want you to sit there and say to yourself, well, I couldn't be a mom either until I became one. And I couldn't go to school and go to college and survive without my mom until I had to do it. And I couldn't have that really tough discussion with a boss when I needed to leave my job. Or I couldn't have that really uncomfortable discussion with my daughter about the attitude she's having, right? All of these things that we do every single day to get up, to put on our clothes, to work out at 5 a.m., to cheer each other on, that's all leadership. And we struggle with red light and green light mentality because we don't have the evidence of what that green light looks like. We don't have the evidence of completing that journey. We only envision the stop. We only envision the fear of the unknown. We only envision the all of the things that we would say to that person if they reached out to us, right? If we don't feel like they're coming from a loving space. So when you start to repackage and start to repurpose and start to tell yourself a completely different story, you'll start to collect evidence of it working out. And if it doesn't, what you do is you collect evidence of tweaks. You collect evidence of opportunities for practice so that the more and more you have these conversations, the more and more you see yourself as the leader, the more and more you don't let the price of something feel too big of a conversation for you to have. You start to get into that space and you really start to own it. So think about whatever that objection was for you, and I want you to rephrase it word by word. So if you're saying to yourself, I could never lead that team, I want you to say, I can lead that team. If you're saying to yourself, I could never, be as organized as I would need to be, say, I know I can find tools to create that organization. If you say to yourself, I wouldn't even know what to share, say, I'm going to share exactly what I need each day to be led, and that's how I'm going to lead. If you don't know how you're going to motivate, I'm going to pick up a personal development book and I'm going to read a quote every single day, and that's what I'm going to motivate with. I'm going to share a podcast. I'm going to reach out to my teammates and ask them what they're doing. I'm going to find other leaders and emulate their practices because I know exactly how to lead, because I'm a learner, because I've been led, because I've been leading in other capacities of my life. And start telling yourself that. And if it's not leadership, if it's building a, bigger challenge group, if it's just creating that rank advancement that you really want to create, walk yourself through it bit by bit and change the dialogue, that internal dialogue you're having. And what I want from you to do, because we've talked about this before, I want you to come up with your mantra from that. I want you to dial it down. For me, it was green light go. That's my hashtag, green light go. And it's so silly, but it really reshaped me. And it just gave me a fire, because if I'm going to present myself on social media as this type of person, I'm going to be that type of person, right? If I'm going to present myself to you guys as a type of person, I'm going to be that type of person. Whatever my rank is, and falling off, or whatever my sickness is keeping me, in bed all week, or my stupid, annoying, family dynamic that hates 9 o'clock on Monday nights, whatever it is, I still can sit here and say that I'm green light go, because I'm showing up every Monday night. I'm showing up on Wednesday mornings. I'm showing up in my challenge group. I am doing my workouts and my shakes when I'm physically able, right? And you can all say the exact same thing. You're doing exactly that thing you're afraid of sharing. You're doing exactly that thing you think you're sucking at. You're doing exactly that thing that you're struggling with. And it's spring, girls. It's time to grow. It's time to blossom. It's not just Leslie season, but it's all of our seasons. The lights are shining, literally. The lights are brighter outside. Everything is prettier outside. I hope it's like that in Wisconsin too. But it's been very lovely here. It's just the time for growth. It's the time for change. We're going to see green everywhere. We're going to see green in our downlines when everyone's flowing emerald, and then blue when they're diamonds, right? We're going to see green because we're not going to stop ourselves from posting. We're not going to stop ourselves from having that conversation. We're not going to stop ourselves from being leaders, because you show up and you are doing it every single day. So let's promise, it's not just mastering your mean girl. It's not just stopping apologizing. It's not just washing your face. It's just being you and being totally cool with that and not selling yourself short. Please stop selling yourself short. Please stop second guessing yourself. And I'm saying this as much for myself as I am for all of you. I hope you woke up today feeling like I did. And Melissa and I were texting earlier, and I could just feel a vibe. This morning when we worked out, we had a kick-ass playlist. There's just something about this time of year, and I mean it. It's spring 365. That's what we need to live in. We need to see these possibilities and green and blooming all over the freaking place. So I hope you held on to that limiting belief and you start to work through it. And you start to think about your limitless potential instead of those limits. You start to think about your opportunities for growth instead of, I'm just not that way. You start to see the ability for you to own exactly this journey you've been on so far as the reason you're able to own the journey that's set in front of you. For the ability that you got through 80-day obsession, we got through Transform 20, we got through all these crazy certifications, right? There's nothing we can't do. There's nothing we can't do. And we have to keep reminding ourselves of that. We have to see the green and stop seeing the red. And I know each and every one of you is seeing red somewhere. I know it. I know it for a fact. And it's silly. I'm doing it too. It's silly, but it stops now. The red stops now. Is that allowed? Is that a double negative if we're talking about red lights? There are no more. There's none. So I want you to take a minute. We're not going to share these out loud. We can maybe share them on Wednesday's call, but I want you to be able to own this internally. But just take a minute and jot down a couple of those limiting beliefs or whatever one you had, so that later you can really start thinking about the way you can go word for word to make it affirmative, line for line to make it an action, to make it a belief, to make it a growth point, and no longer something that's going to stop you. I'm going to shush and give you a minute. This isn't our action item PS. This is bonus material. And we'll get into that in a sec. Sorry if you can hear Kellen singing. If you saw my message earlier about today, if you have it with you, I want you to take a look. Oh, of course, I didn't bring mine over here, and I'm all tethered into my earbuds. Hold on. All right. If you printed out the story template or the story outline thing that we put together, and I know a couple different people shared a couple different, but it was the Find Your Story. I have it right at the front of my tracker binder so that it's easy for me to reference. What I should have done is snapped a photo of it. I think I recommended doing that, and I didn't do it myself. But if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm going to walk you through another way to do this as well. But what I would like for everybody to do, and I know Instagram's been kind of buggy, or maybe that's just me still, but what I would like everyone to take time to do tonight is to create some posts. And they don't have to be complete posts. We've talked about doing this before, so I'm going to give us some space to do that. But create 3 to 5 possible posts that when you're in a pinch, you can share. And here are some guidelines, okay? So don't just go start doing it. You didn't do your E? Okay, buddy. And I know a lot of us listen to that Jenna Kutcher training. Brock Johnson also did an Instagram training recently, but there's a lot of a couple of shifts with Instagram. First off, we've heard this a million times, that we can't be selling. And I know last week on our morning accountability call, so many people were saying that they keep getting themselves into this habit of, it's like sale post after sale post after sale post. Join my group, look at my food. Join my group, look at my workout. Join my group, look at my food, right? We kind of have this weird pattern. And what I would like for you to do is 2 things. First off, in your Instagram, take a look at your top 9. So take a look at your 9 most recent posts. And then take a look at your story list if you have it. And see if you're representing at least 3 different parts of this. I mean, this list should be like 112 different story ideas. Things from your values in life, your success values, your work values, your weekend habits, interesting things about you, scary things about you. If we are making sure that within every 9 posts, 3 of them come from here, we're making sure that we're not getting too workouty, too fitnessy, too whatever, coaching, right? Because then we can make sure we're talking to a lot of people. And if you're struggling to do that, these are the posts that I want you to start to build into your saved posts. So you can find some images for them in your camera roll, or you can look for some fun quotes right now. You can go back and look at pictures of your kids from, 6 years ago. Teresa's been really cute at sharing pictures like that. You can grab a transformation of your house, like before and after last time you did some cool projects, if that's like a hobby of yours. Robin can look at some of the things from her other business and share some of that. Like trying to find some material that shows sides of us that are not our fitness, that are not our certification, that are not our coaching, that we have at the ready. So when we're sitting there, we're like, I just don't know what to post, but it's been a while. I know I need to post and it's been a while. We've got these and they aren't our usual fallbacks. It's not another fast motion video of us working out. It's not another picture of our kids from today, right? It's like something that's a little bit more purposeful and intentional. And don't feel like you have to write out all the copy right now, but write out enough. Give yourself enough that it'll make posting it very quick. And if you're good with words, or you just want this to be a nice quick little caption, then you can get it all out there, save it, and be ready to go when it's time. Another thing that, I don't remember if this was from Brock. I think it was from Christine Dwyer, who initially gave us these story trackers. She had a podcast this week on Facebook algorithms and Instagram and all this, and the different types of posts that are ranking now. And longer captions are actually better and being more favorable in the algorithms now. So because that takes some time, giving yourself kind of an outline of what those longer captions would be. And then when you do have some time, you can flesh them out. But one thing I meant to say this earlier and I forgot. We've talked a lot on the Wednesday calls too about tracking more. And I did something today. I know a lot of us work from our phones. I really feel most intentional when I work from my computer, which I can't always, Instagram is not the best for that because I can't scroll people's stories and do things like that on Instagram on my computer. But I can at least go through and comment on posts. I can send invitations on Facebook. I can send, do subscription emails from my my coach office. So what I did is I gave myself a schedule, and I put each day of the week on a Post-it and the top random business task I want to do that day. So it's not just my tracker, but it's kind of like that extra stuff. And I'm sure you have your own schedule for this. I have it all in my phone, but then I'm like pulling out my phone. I've got my computer. I've got this. So when I do have a power pocket on Monday, I know that that's when I need to make sure I'm posting that we have our tribe call. I know that that's when I'm going to be looking at my subscriptions that are lapsing in the next 2 weeks. And I know that's when I'm going to post to my Redefine fam. Like I just have some bigger businessy building items. And as we start to build teams and as we start to build our like pages, or not our like pages, our alum pages, if we have those, and we start to do extra things, that's not necessarily embedded in the tracker. Creating time to work on a newsletter, perhaps. Creating time to make posts so that when it's time to share them, you've got easy posts to share. Finding a space for that, I just have this little visual for myself. So on that day of the week, I can make sure when I finish my main tasks for the day, I can focus in on those extra ones. Just another little tip that I want to share. I know we all have our own little, organizational things, but I'm a Post-it girl, and I like keeping them right on my computer, and I see it, and I know it's there. So when my binder's not in the classroom with me or whatever, I've got something I can focus on. So anyway, give yourself a chance. Create 3 to 5 posts that are ready for you in a pinch, that are non-Beachbody related from our stories if you can. And then once they're saved, go and love on some Instagram stories and then call it a night. All right. Anything for the good of the order. Any questions, or not just for me, I'm not an expert in anything at all. Anything to brag about? Any shout outs you want to share? Oh, Kellen's got the iPad or something now. I'm hearing lots of fun YouTube out there. All right, then. He's listening to Pete the Cat. I love it. I'm going to do my action item. Mindy left us. I've had a post sharing for over 2 hours. People have strong opinions about making their beds.
I've never made my bed.
Really?
No. My mom tried to instill that in me. It didn't work. She makes my bed on Mondays when she's here.
I never really get around to the kids' beds.
Yeah, no, I'm bad.
You're better at laundry than me.
My house is a disaster, but
I
I
don't
always
do
make
laundry.
I always make my bed.
I stopped doing laundry when I started coaching. I just stopped one day, and my husband just started. He's not thrilled.
Shalene Johnson talks about that laundry was the first thing to go for her when she started building the business.
I just stopped doing it. I don't know what happened.
She mentioned it again in one of the podcasts of hers that I listened to this week because now she has like 100 a week. P.S. Did any of the moms listen to the one she did with her daughter Sierra today?
No. Should I?
It's on, I think it's the Shalene show. I don't think it was Build Your Tribe, but it was really fascinating. Her daughter's a freshman in college, and she has an interesting story in and of herself. But they talk about confidence and mother-daughter relationships, and it was just really neat. It was really neat. It was a cool thing. It was long, but I thought it was very worth it. I mean, I can't even save. I give you guys an action item that my Instagram will not allow me to do. It keeps crashing.
I'll just send you all my pictures, and you can write the text.
Okay.
Is it your post or is it your stories or both?
Mine is both right now.
Mine
That
is
happened to me a couple days ago. It just
I
kept
really think it's my I think I'm going to have to delete my app, which means all of the
save stuff.
goes away. So, love it.
I just can't attach music or turn volume off on anything because then it crashes it.
I never did either of those things, so I don't know if that would do it for me. But honestly, nothing works for me anymore.
Need a new phone.
I do.
Says the person with the oldest iPhone they sell, but
I do. It's just overworked. Oh, I guess I could stop recording.